south. They were bound to come to a town at some point. As they walked off with Kunti between them, Hidambi followed behind, and Bhima became concerned and said, the Rakshasas are known to avenge themselves on their enemies. They use deceptions and illusions. Therefore, Hidambi, you shall go the way your brother has gone. Bhima turned menacingly towards Hidambi. He did not fear her in the least, but wished only to scare her away before she tried any trickery. But Yudhishthira stopped his younger brother. O Bhima, you should never kill a woman, even in anger. The attainment of virtue is always a higher duty than the protection of one's body. Beside this, what harm can this woman do to us? You have already slain her more powerful brother. Hidimbi folded her palms to Yudhishthira and thanked him. She approached Kunti and said with tears in her eyes, Noble lady, you know well the suffering of a woman afflicted by a desire. The god of love has pierced me with his shaft, and I am consumed by desires of your son Bhima. If he does not accept me as his wife, I will not be able to live. Do not doubt this. So Hidambi begged Kunti to be merciful and allow her to marry Bhima. She would carry all of them to a celestial region where they could rest for some time. There she could sport alone with Bhima. Hidimbi promised Kunti that she would always be available to serve the Pandavas. They had only to think of her and she would appear before them at once. Kneeling before Kunti, Hidambi said, Please do not kill me by saying no. My request is in accord with virtue, and indeed saving one's life by any means is always considered virtuous by the wise. Virtue itself protects and sustains life. Therefore, grant me my desire, for it is not sinful. So, yeah, Hidambi. Okay, so I will read further. Yudhishthira smiled. He was impressed by Hidambi's knowledge of religion. She would be good wife for Bhima, whom he had noted was not above her sidelong glances. Yudhishthira said, You have spoken well, O highly attractive lady. It must be as you say, you shall become Bhima's wife. Remaining with him by day, you may sport with him as you please. At night, however, he should always be returned to our presence. So Hidambi's face blossomed, and with happiness she looked at Bhima with eyes full of love. The prince smiled at her and said, I agree to this union, but I shall make one condition. As soon as you obtain a son, I shall depart and leave you alone. My brothers and I have much to achieve in order to win back our father's kingdom. So, yeah, so they had an agreement with Hidambi that, okay, till the time she will get a son, only till the time only Bhima will live with him, with her. So Hidambi agreed. Then, assuming a large form, she carried them all to a high mountain lake called Shalivahan. In that beautiful woodland region, the brothers constructed a wooden hut on the lake shore. There they lived peacefully. Hidambi took Bhima with her during the daytime. She soared through the sky to celestial places and showed Bhima the numerous exquisite gardens frequented by Siddhas and Gandharvas. So she's taking him different places where I think in Himalayas they are, so like the Siddhas and Gandharvas are coming there, and it's a different place. No, not normal people cannot go there. So she was celestial, um, having some mystic power. So she was taking them there. Okay. So there they lay together on the sandy banks of the crystal streams covered with blue and red lotuses. Hidambi also took him to the land of the Guhakas, which was situated on the shore of the divine Manas lake. Bhima saw beautiful towns full of shining mansions and places and groves of blossoming trees and heavenly flowers. whose fragrance completely enchanted the mind. Hidambi was dazzling as a good goddess. She adorned herself with fine gems and gold ornaments, and she constantly poured forth sweet song. Bhima was captivated by her, and the 7 month they enjoyed together seemed to pass as quickly as if it was 7 days. At the end of the 7 months, she gave birth to a son named Gatotkash. Within days of his birth, the boy grew to the youthhood and he took on the terrible form of Rakshasa. His huge body was fearsome with knotted muscles, a head as blade as a pot, as bald as a pot, and terrible red eyes, a long pointed nose, and ears like sharp arrows. His chest was broad, and he stood as tall as a palm tree. So this is a point here that he grows only in one day. He became like a youthhood, and he became a terrible rakshasa. He became being only in one day. So it's not like us, like we take longer time. But they are celestials. They are having mystic powers. So their son just grow in one day only. Okay, although a Rakshasa by nature, Gatotkacha was inclined to virtue and he became a great favorite of the Pandavas. He was devoted to their service and they looked on him as a younger brother. Taught by the Pandavas, the boy quickly became proficient at weaponry and fighting. After a couple of months, he asked permission from his parents to leave for the northern region where Yakshas and Rakshasas dwell. Okay, so he was having some qualities because he came from the Pandavas only. So he was not like Rakshasa. Uh, so he became favorite of Pandavas and he was devoted to their service. Okay. So Pandavas, the boy quickly became proficient in weaponry. So yeah, so he just learned quickly. They gave him some training about weapons because Pandavas was living there. After a couple of months, he asked permission from his parents to leave for the northern region where Yakshas and Rakshas dwell. So he promised the Pandavas that they need only think of him and he would return to render them any service they required. So yeah, so he promised that okay, whenever you will remember me, I will be there. After touching the feet of his mother and of all the Pandavas, he rose up to the sky and departed. Okay, so uh, the time had come for Bhima to leave Hidambi. She embraced the Pandavas tearfully and asked if she would ever again see him. Bhima assured her that in the future, after he and his brothers had overcome their obstacles, were free from danger, and they could be reunited. So, so now Bhima wants to leave, and but they are saying that after everything will be normal, they will come back. They will meet her. So, leaving Hidambi in their mountains dwelling, the Pandavas and Kunti resumed their revels. They disguised themselves as ascetic by mating their hair and wearing the tree bark garments. Bhima carried his mother as they traveled through the many different lands. Going from forest to forest, they passed through the countries of the Matsyas and the Trigartas and the Panchalas. No one recognized them. They proceeded slowly, unsure of what to expect and awaiting of the Lord's indication as to what they should do next. So while traveling, they studied the Vedic scriptures together, and all five brothers imbibed the science of morality and many other subjects described in the Vedas. Okay, so here, so they are traveling, and okay, so they are traveling and they are reading Vedic scriptures while traveling. They are not wasting their time, just and they are also here it is said that they were also dependent on Krishna. So awaiting the Lord's indication to what they should do next. So they were like looking for that, but still they were making their own plan, but they were looking for Krishna's next instruction also, like anything where he wants us to go. So one day, as they sat in the forest by their sacred fire, Vyasadeva came to see them. Okay, now Vyasadeva came. After being received with the due worship, the rishi sat down and said, I have been aware of the Kauravas' unjust behavior towards you. Although I see both the Kauravas and yourselves equally, I feel a greater affection for you, brothers. Due to your misfortune, I have therefore come here wishing to do you some good. So now व्यासदेव came. व्यासदेव आए हैं मिलने के लिए पांडवस से, और यहाँ पर पांडवस को वो बता रहे हैं कि ये जो लाइन है, ऑल्दो आई सी बोथ कौरवास एंड योरसेल्फ इक्वली, तो बिकॉज ही इज अ ब्राह्मण, वेद व्यास जो है वो मतलब एक साधु हैं, तो साधु हमेशा सबको एक इक्वल नजर से देखता है, भले ही वो कोई भी हो, बट स्टिल जो वो कह रहे हैं कि आई फील अ ग्रेटर अफेक्शन फॉर यू ब्रदर ड्यू टू योर मिसफॉर्चून, लेकिन जिसको हेल्प की जरूरत होती है उसको साधु थोड़ा ज्यादा से फेवर करते हैं. सो यहाँ पर व्यासदेव जो है वो पांडवस को थोड़ा फेवर कर रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ देयर मिसफॉर्चून. So Vyasdev informed them of a nearby village called Ekachakra. He instructed them to live there for some time, saying that he would come again to give them further directions. Uh, okay, which informed them for a nearby village called Ekachakra. He instructed them to live there for some time, saying that he would come again to give them further direction. The rishi then reassured the sorrowing Kunti, her sons would in time rule the world. The virtuous Yudhishthira, protected by his powerful brothers, would certainly become king. Soon he would perform the great Rashtriya sacrifice and establishing himself as the emperor of the entire globe. Okay, so यहाँ पर व्यासदेव थोड़ा भविष्यवाणी कर रहे हैं what is going to happen. The sage personally led them to Ekachakra. He brought them to Brahmin's house where they were received as a guest. Vyasdev then took his leave and telling them again that he would return to them before long. Okay, the Pandavas surveyed their new abode, and the little village of Ekachakra was situated amid beautiful woodlands. The Brahmin had kindly given the brothers 2 rooms in his house for their residence. He had taken a vow that he would always receive any travelers who came to his door. By day they went about the village begging for food, and due to their gentleness and humility, they soon became dear to the people there. Everyone accepted them as wandering ascetics, staying briefly in the village, and they gladly gave them alms. तो अभी जो पांडव हैं वो सब ब्राह्मण्स के रूप में रह रहे हैं वहां पर, और वो भिक्षा मांग रहे हैं, और सभी लोग विलेज के उनसे काफी खुश हैं, और उनको बिकॉज they all were having very good qualities like gentleness and humility. So by that, all the people were happy by them, and they were giving them that piksha. So every night the brothers offered their mother whatever alms they had been collected, and she would then prepare their meal. Half of the food was given to Bhima, and the rest was divided among the other 4 brothers and Kunti. So here, half was whatever they were collecting, half was given to Bhima, because Bhima's diet was uh, more than other Pandavas, and so that's why it was given to him half, and other half was divided to all the 4 brothers. So when the brothers went out begging, a different one of them would remain behind each day to protect Kunti. Okay, any question, any comments till now? Hare Krishna. Hmm. No. Any question, any comment? So I have one comment here that so someone may say why they were giving any problem anyone is having, like why they were giving 50% to Bima and half 50% to all of them. Any issue is there? No. Everyone is agree and satisfied with this. Are you able to hear me? Hare Krishna.
Yes, please.
तो क्या कोई इशू नहीं है इसमें किसी को? यहाँ तो इक्वालिटी नहीं हुई, इक्वली डिवाइड नहीं हुआ कुछ भी. तो हम इससे एक प्रिंसिपल सीख सकते हैं कि इक्वलिटी का मतलब एक्चुअली दे आर इक्वल टू एवरीवन. सो क्योंकि जिसकी जैसी रिक्वायरमेंट है उसको उतना देना चाहिए. तो दैट इज रियल इक्वालिटी. नॉट लाइक ऐसा नहीं है कि हम इक्वल का मतलब है कि सबको एक जैसा देना. इक्वल का मतलब है जिसकी जितनी रिक्वायरमेंट है उसको उतना देना. तो that principle we can learn here. So they were whatever they were doing that was according to Shastra, and um, that was mm, that's how it should be. Okay. Any other point from whatever we read till now? Anything? Anyone? No. Okay, I'm reading further then. When the brothers went out begging, a different one of them would remain behind each day to protect Kunti. So, okay, so they were not leaving their mother alone. So whenever they were going out, not all of them was going. Sometime one brother will always be there. So one particular day it was Bhima's turn to stay back, and he was sitting with his mother when they heard loud crying in the house. Hearing the piteous lamentations, Kunti heart was moved, and she spoke to Bhima. "O son, due to this Brahmin's kindness, we are living here peacefully with no fear of Duryodhana and his brothers. I am always thinking how we might repay this gentle Brahmin. A virtuous man should always return the good done to him with an even greater good. Perhaps now our chance has come." So, yeah, Kunti Maharani is saying, किसी से भी कुछ भी लेना है तो उसको वापस करना चाहिए और उससे ज्यादा वापस करना चाहिए जितना उससे लिया है. So, so कुंती महारानी को जो है किसी के रोने की आवाज आ रही है. So Kunti could understand that Brahmin had fallen into some great distress, and Bhima told her to try ascertain the cause. He would then try to remove it, no matter how difficult the task it proved to be. Okay, so although she was not knowing that what could be the problem of Brahman, why he's crying, but she knows, she understands that okay, Bhima will be capable to do that. Okay, just give me a minute. One call is coming. Hare Krishna. So where we were. Okay. So Kunti could understand that Brahmin had fallen into some great distress. Okay, so she was not knowing what is the problem, what is the matter, but she know that okay, the Bhima told her to try to ascertain the cause. He would then try to remove it. Okay. So Kunti slipped quietly and into the inner apartment where the Brahmins lived with his family. She stood unnoticed by the door while the Brahmins and his wife and children sat with downcast faces. As Kunti watched, the Brahmin said to his wife, "Why, upon his wretched life, which afford one only misery. To live is to experience nothing but disease and pain, pursuing in turn religion, wealth, and pleasure. One endeavors much, but receives little happiness. While everything leads to salvation, that is an impossible goal to achieve. Those who desire riches suffer, while those who have riches suffer even more. Thus, why do I live?" Kunti listened in silence as the Brahmins continued to condemn himself and his misfortune. He spoke of a terrible danger that had befallen them. His wife wept as he censured her, blaming their present predicaments upon her wish to remain in the village due to affection for her now dead relatives. The Brahmin held his head in anguish. "How can I abandon you to save my own life? You were given to me by your parents. It is my duty to protect you. You have always served me and borne my child. I can in no way let you go, nor can I abandon my only son or daughter. I shall go, or maybe we should all die together." The Brahmin fell to the ground sobbing, and his wife lifted him gently and said, "This lamentation does not befit a learned man like yourself. No one should lament in inevitable death, nor shall you or our children die. I shall go, and indeed a woman's highest duty lies in sacrificing her life to serve her husband. Undoubtedly, such an act will confer upon me regions of eternal bliss." Kunti was curious. The Brahmin's wife continued to implore her husband to allow her to die. She said that neither she nor her children could possibly survive in his absence. If she were left a widow, she would become a prey to dishonorable men who would seek her just as a crow's descend upon a piece of meat left on the ground. How then could she protect their two young children and keep them on the path of truth and virtue? She folded her hands and begged her husband for permission to leave. He could then accept another wife, while she would earn undying religion merits by her final service. तो यहाँ पर जो ब्राह्मणी है, अ, माता जी हैं, वो बोल रही हैं कि she wants to die, and she's saying that she cannot live alone. It will be a problem in the society. So same thing Arjuna was saying in Bhagavad Gita also to Krishna, that the women will not be protected if I will kill all of them, and then the same thing she's saying that what will happen. So that happens, right? So so while she would earn undying religion, so she's saying you can get married again, but I will get if I will perform this my duty, then I will be in a I will get very much religious merits. So people used to think of next life and credits from this life, pap, punya, all those things. It nowadays people don't think like that. They just think in this life how I can get the benefit. Here the family is fighting for dying for each other. Uh, so the Brahmin sat with his head in his hands and made no reply. Then his daughter began to speak. "Oh father, why are you sorrowful when you have me? Allow me to go and thus save yourself. It is a child duty to save the parent. This is why the wise have called uh, one's child Putra, one who delivers the parents from hell. My duty to my forefather is to bear a son to offer them the sacred Shraddha. But by the grace of providence, I may now serve my forefathers by saving my father. Oh, father, you will one day have to be abandon me. Therefore, do not hesitate to do so now." So now daughter is saying that I will go. So the girl wept along with her parents, and the Brahmin's small son then said in broken speech, "None of you should cry, send me, and I shall kill the cannibal Rakshasa in a moment." So the boy smiled and brandished a piece of long grass as if it were a weapon. So yeah, he's showing some courage. Although they were grief stricken, they all laughed at the young boy's words, and Kunti took the sudden change of mood as an opportunity to inquire about the cause of their distress. Could she do anything to help? The Brahmin replied that their grief would not be removed by any human being. The country where they lived was protected from enemies by a powerful Rakshasa named Baka. He had long terrorized the people, who found no protection from their weak king. The Rakshasa used to come whenever he wanted and kill them for his food. Finally, the people went to Baka and proposed that if he would stop attacking them at will, then each week one of them would go to him and with a large cartload of food. In turns, he should protect them from attackers. The cannibal agreed, but he demanded that he also eat the man who delivered his food. So the Brahmin told Kunti that the turn of each man in their country came only after many years. Tomorrow it was his turn. He didn't know what to do. He could not leave his young family alone, nor could he send them to their deaths. Therefore, they would go. They would all go to meet the demon. Perhaps Baka would show compassion and spare them, or they would all be devoured at once. My voice is coming, right? Still, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. So the Brahmin told Kunti, okay, so therefore they would all go. Okay, Kunti said, I see mean by which you may be delivered from this fear, although you have but two children. I have 5 sons. Therefore let one of them go with Rakshas's tribute. The Brahmin was shocked. I can never cause the death of a guest and a Brahmin to save my own life. Even the most sinful man would not do this. Rather, one should sacrifice himself and his children for the sake of a Brahmin. So Kunti was grave, and I am of the same opinion that Brahmin should always be protected. But you need not fear of for my son. The Rakshasa will not be able to kill him. He is powerful and knows the science of mantras. Kunti told the Brahmin that she had already seen her son kill a powerful Rakshasa. So Baka would prove no problem to him. She asked the Brahmin not to disclose to anyone else what she had told him. If others learned of her son's power, they would harass him for his knowledge, and the power of mantras would be diminished if they were given to others. So Kunti said that, okay, yeah, she said, okay, he's powerful, but don't tell to anyone. The Brahmin looked carefully at Kunti's expression, and she was obviously speaking the truth. Her son must surely possess some extraordinary powers. With tears in his eyes, he assented to her suggestion. Kunti went to Bhima and told him everything. She asked him to go to Baka. Bhima agreed at once. His eyes light up at the thought that he would be able to exercise his strength, while at the same time show their gratitude to the gentle Brahmins and his family. Just as a Kunti Bhima finished speaking, the other Pandavas returned. Yudhishthira caught Bhima's eye and sensed at once that his younger brother was contemplating something wonderful. He sat by his mother and asked quietly, what does Bhima have on his mind? It seems he is about to do some extraordinary deed. It is something you have ordered, or is it some plan of his own? Kunti told her son what had transpired. When Yudhishthira learned that Bhima was about to go out to meet Baka, he became alarmed. Oh mother, you have made this Brahmin a rash promise. Surely it is never sanctioned to sacrifice one's own son for that of another. All my hopes of overpowering the Dhritarashtra's sons and regaining the kingdom are dependent on Bhima's power. So Yudhishthir Maharaj सोच रहे हैं कि भीमा को क्यों जाने दे रहे हैं. Okay. So Kunti smiled slightly and reassured Yudhishthira. She reminded him of Bhima's superhuman prowess. How even as an infant he had crushed a great rock to powder. How he had easily carried all of them through the forest while running at the speed of the wind. How he had slain the immensely strong Hidimba, it was not out of foolishness that I made my offer to Brahmin. It is always a ruler's duty to protect the Brahmins. By this act, we will achieve two things. We will reward the Brahmins' kindness towards us. We will earn much religious merit. So Kunti told her son that she had been wondering how to repay the Brahmins for some time. This opportunity was obviously the Lord's arrangement for them. Yudhishthira pondered Kunti's words. Looking across at the smiling Bhima, he replied, "You have spoken well. Your decision is well considered. Because of your compassion towards the Brahmin, Bhima will surely kill the demon Baka. But you must ensure that no one comes to know that it was him." Yudhishthira was not sure if the Kauravas knew that he and his brother were still alive. Okay, sorry. Uh, their spies would soon inform them of Baka's death. They may well suspect that it was Bhima who had killed him. Few other men were capable of killing such a powerful Rakshasa. So that night, while the village slept, Bhima quietly left the Brahmin's house. He drove the cart loaded with food towards the forest where Baka dwelt. The aroma of food was overpowering. After living for so long on meager forest fare and whatever alms the brother were able to collect, Bhima was ravenous. He began to eat the food from the cart on his way into the forest. He shouted Baka's name. The Rakshasa heard Bhima's approach and became inflamed with anger. He ran towards the Pandavas, yelling, "I am Baka." Bhima saw him emerge from among the trees. The earth resounded with his footsteps and his shouts were deafening. He had a huge body, red eyes, red beard, and red hair. His mouth opened from ear to ear, and his forehead was forward into three lines as he looked upon Bhima eating his food. Baka stopped near the cart and thundered, "Who is this fool who desires to be dispatched at once to death aboard by eating in my presence the food intended for me?" Bhima glanced derisively at Rakshasa and smiled. He ignored his challenge and continued eating. Baka roared in fury. He rushed at Bhima with his arms upraised. Still, the Pandava continued to eat. Baka brought his two fists down upon Bhima's back with the force of thunderbolt. Without flinching, Bhima went on eating. He did not even look at the Rakshasa. Baka roared again and tore up a huge tree. As he whirled it above his head, Bhima stood up and washed his hands from the pitcher of water on the cart. Then he leapt down from the cart and faced infuriated demon. Baka hurled the tree at Bhima with all his strength. Bhima smilingly caught it in his left hand and threw it back. The Rakshasa uprooted one tree after another and hurled them at Bhima, who caught each of them and sent them back. Soon the whole area was cleared of trees. Screaming out of his own name again and again, Baka threw himself upon Bhima and seized him. Bhima also gripped the demon with his own powerful arms. The two dragged each other violently, each trying to kick the other's legs out from underneath him. Then they fell to the ground, still locked in one another's arm. They rolled about, making the ground tremble. Bhima tightened his grip. He repeatedly smashed the demon's head with his own forehead. Gradually, Baka tired Bhima pulled free of his grasp and pounded the demon with his fist. He pressed down on Baka's chest with his knees and struck him crushing blows which made the earth shake. Baka fell unconscious and Bhima rolled him onto his stomach. Placing one knee on his back, he seized his neck with one hand and his waist cloth with the other. With great force, Bhima broke the demon's back into two. As he died, Baka vomited blood and let out a fearful yell which filled the forest. Hearing him scream, Baka's friends and relatives came out of their houses. They looked with horror at his mountainous form lying in a pool of blood. Bhima reassured the terrified Rakshasas that he was not going to attack them. This one has been killed due to his excessive fondness for human flesh. Give up killing man, otherwise this fate awaits you all. The Rakshasas immediately assented, saying, "It shall be so." Then they ran from that place, leaving Bhima with Baka's body. From that time on the people of Ekachakra noticed the Rakshasa became peaceable towards them. Bhima lifted Baka's corpse and placed it on the cart unseen by anyone. He deposited it by the town gates and then returned to the Brahmin's house. His mother and brother was relieved to see him, and he described to them all that had happened. Hare Krishna. So we finished this chapter. Any question, any comment, anything? So this Ek Chakra we have in near to Mayapur, like in Navdeep. This place, one Ek Chakra is there. I don't know. Other Ek Chakra may be also there. I don't know. But we went there, I think, last year or last year, I think so. We were there last year. We were there. I don't know, I forgot, in March with Advudhari Prabhu. So I think there he told us this story. Okay, if you guys want to visit this place, Ek Chakra, Ek Chakra Dham, you can go to Mayapur. Hmm. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. सबको मेरा आवाज आ रहा है?
Yes, Prabhuji.
सबको समझ में आ रहा है हम लोग क्या पढ़ रहे हैं?
Ji, Prabhuji.
पता नहीं लग रहा है क्योंकि सब लोग साइलेंट रहते हैं तो मुझे पता नहीं लगता है.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, any question, any comments, anything else to discuss? We can discuss something else also if you like, because we have some time, 10 more minutes. Hare Krishna. Yes.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
Yes.
मुझे दिवाली के रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन था कि यूजुअली
Okay.
हम लोग गणेश जी की आरती करते हैं और लक्ष्मी जी की करते हैं. सो एडिशनली और हाउ वी कैन डू एडिशनल टू दैट.
दिवाली वाले दिन कुछ, आई थिंक मुझे लगता है कुछ आचार्य कहते हैं कि एक तो दामोदर लीला जो हुई थी वो शायद दिवाली वाले दिन हुई थी. आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट दैट. तो जनरली तो हमको दिवाली वाले दिन नेक्स्ट डे वैसे भी गोवर्धन वो होता है, अन्नकूट होता है आफ्टर दिवाली आई थिंक.
हाँ, बट यहाँ पे इस्कॉन के हिसाब से 13th को दिवाली है, बट वैसे सब लोग 12th को मना रहे रेगुलर मीन्स. सो आई डोंट नो. एक तो वो भी कंफ्यूजन है कि क्या, हाँ, कि दोनों दिन करें या क्या, क्योंकि फैमिली और सब जगह 12 मना रहे हैं.
ये जो फैमिली ट्रेडिशन है वो आप फैमिली के हिसाब से कर लीजिए. बाकी जो इस्कॉन का है तो आप लोग इस्कॉन आ सकते हैं. उस दिन वहाँ पर कथा होता है काफी अच्छा. और आपको थोड़ा मतलब प्रशांत भी होता है हिंदू टेम्पल में. अगर आप टेम्पल के आसपास 13 को मतलब दोनों का काम हो जाएगा, आपका फैमिली का भी हो जाएगा. तो फैमिली वाला जो दिवाली होता है एक्चुअली वो तो मुझे सेंस ही नहीं करता. समझ नहीं आता कि लोग लक्ष्मी गणेश और सरस्वती को साथ में क्यों रखते हैं. आई डोंट नो, मे बी देयर इज सम शास्त्रिक रीजन, बट आई डोंट नो अबाउट. मुझे इतना पता है कि लक्ष्मी जी का प्राकट्य हुआ था उस दिन, जब वो समुद्र मंथन हो रहा था तो उसमें से लक्ष्मी जी प्रकट हुई थी. तो इसलिए शायद लक्ष्मी का पूजन होता है।
ओके
तो
ओके।
गणेश जी कहाँ से आ गए और सरस्वती कहाँ से आ गई, आई एम नॉट श्योर। और लक्ष्मी में भी लक्ष्मी पूजन आप बिना विष्णु के नहीं करना चाहिए कभी भी।
हाँ, तो वही
अगर
मुझे पूछना था कि विष्णु जी का क्या मतलब आरती करना है कि क्या होता है
हाँ,
उसके
लक्ष्मी
नीड्स?
विष्णु को आप पुष्प अर्पण कर सकते हैं, पंचभूत जो भी होते हैं, जो आपके पास जो भी नैवेद्य है, आप प्रसाद जो भी है, भोग बना सकते हैं उनके लिए, वो तो फॉर एवर आप कर ही सकते हैं। लेकिन लक्ष्मी हमेशा विष्णु के साथ ही उनका पूजन होना चाहिए। अगर लक्ष्मी आप बिना विष्णु के पूजते हैं तो वो ज्यादा दिन आपके यहाँ रहती नहीं है।
बिल्कुल। हाँ हाँ।
तो एक वो रीजन है। तो अगर लक्ष्मी पूजन करना भी पड़ रहा है तो विष्णु के साथ कीजिए। ऑल दो हमारे लिए तो मेन दामोदर कार्तिक मंथ चल रहा है, तो दामोदर लीला पर मेडिटेट करना वो ज्यादा बेस्ट है, और भगवान के नाम का कीर्तन करना।
ओके ओके प्रभु जी, थैंक यू, हरे कृष्णा।
ओके, हरे कृष्णा। ओके, ऋषिका मांगे जी, हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, Guruji. I wanted to know the nature of spiritual manifestation, material manifestation, and living entities.
What you're saying?
The need, like, so basically, there was this one line where it was written that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained Sanatan Goswami the nature of living entities, the nature of spiritual manifestation, and material manifestation. And it was not described that what is in the nature. So I just wanted to know that.
What is that nature? Nature of material manifestation, nature of spiritual manifestation? वो
Yeah, and
लाइन
also living
क्या है?
entities.
हम्म,
वो इतना ही लाइन था that चैतन्य महाप्रभु explained सनातन गोस्वामी about all this.
अच्छा, आई डोंट नो वो किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में वहाँ बात कर रहे होंगे। बट मटेरियल मैनिफेस्टेशन मतलब ठीक है, एंटिटीज,
Okay.
एंटिटीज मटेरियली मतलब महाविष्णु से जब महाप्रलय हो जाता है तब वो महाविष्णु के अंदर होती हैं, वहां से फिर इम्प्रेग्नेंट होती हैं इसमें। इसको महातत्व क्या कहते हैं यार, उसको महातत्व कहते हैं। तो जब मटेरियल वर्ल्ड जब अपने पोटेंशियल फॉर्म में मतलब एक अनमैनिफेस्टेड फॉर्म में रहता है, उसका स्टार्टिंग, मैनिफेस्टेशन का स्टार्टिंग, वो एक्चुअली मटेरियल वर्ल्ड एटर्नल है, मतलब वो भी हमेशा रहता है, बट वो अनमैनिफेस्टेड रहता है। तो बस उसका स्टार्टिंग जो है वो महाविष्णु के ग्लांस से शुरू होता है, जब महाविष्णु उस पर ग्लांस करते हैं और उसी से वो सारी आत्माओं को अपने से निकाल कर उसके अंदर डाल देते हैं। तो जैसे एक चाइल्ड होता है ना अभी, तो वैसा ही सेम चीज होता है, बट इट्स जस्ट बाय ग्लांस महाविष्णु इज डूइंग। सो ये ब्रह्म संहिता में आई थिंक दिया हुआ है। और तो ऐसे तो मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में लिविंग एंटिटीज आते हैं, और स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में लिविंग एंटिटीज आई डोंट नो, शंकरशन से या वो बलराम जी से एक्सपेंशन होते हैं। तो एक्चुअली तो सब कुछ एटर्नली, लिविंग एंटिटी एटर्नल है, तो वो भी एक मैनिफेस्टेशन ही है जस्ट टू कम। बट सब लोग सारी चीजें ये एटर्नल है, मतलब सोल एटर्नल है, एटर्नल कोई क्रिएशन नहीं हुआ है उसका। वेद एटर्नल है, भगवान एटर्नल है, प्रकृति एटर्नल है, सारी भगवान की एनर्जीज एटर्नल है। तो उनका ऐसा नहीं है कि उनको क्रिएट कर दिया गया है कोई, उनका स्टार्टिंग और एंड नहीं है, बट इट्स जस्ट अनमैनिफेस्टेड एंड मैनिफेस्टेड इन एट सम प्लेस। जैसे हम नरसिम्ह देव एक जगह पे प्रकट हुए, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि नरसिम्ह देव उससे पहले थे नहीं या उसके बाद में नहीं है, वो प्रकट हुए चले गए, अब क्या वो नरसिम्ह देव नहीं है? देवर ऑलरेडी देयर, बट वो जो फॉर्म है उसको रिवील करने का जो टाइम था वो था केवल। तो दैट्स one thing we should understand when we are discussing, we are you know trying to understand these things। तो ये सब eternally है, तो इनका कोई स्टार्टिंग और एंड तो है नहीं। तो उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में क्या बात हो रही है, आई डोंट नो एग्जैक्टली।
Yeah.
ओके।
Okay, Brody, thank you. I have one more question, can I?
यस यस माता जी।
So basically, there is this one line Krishna comes when there is a disturbance created by demons who are always trying to disrupt the administration of demigods. So, we are talking about Krishna only, or like all the forms of Krishna?
All the forms of Krishna, not only Krishna, all the forms of Krishna.
Okay.
Krishna doesn't come in Krishna's form anywhere else. ऐसा नहीं है कि जब इंद्र को कोई इशू होगा तो कृष्ण अपने फॉर्म में, कृष्ण के फॉर्म में आएंगे। ऑलवेज कम्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ विष्णु, या जैसे वरा अवतार हुआ, या नरसिम्हा अवतार हुआ, ये इस तरह के अवतार जो भी हैं भगवान के, वो आते हैं। तो और समटाइम्स कृष्ण के डिवोटी भी आते हैं। तो जैसे अभी डिस्टरबेंस था तो प्रभुपाद आ गए, अभी और डिस्टरबेंस चल रहा है तो और भी प्रभुपाद के शिष्य हैं, या और भी लोग, और भी साधु संत जो भगवान के डायरेक्ट पार्षद हैं, वो इस धरती पर अभी भी अवेलेबल हैं, दे आर डूइंग देयर वर्क। तो वो भी मैनिफेस्टेशन इसलिए होता है जब डिस्टरबेंस होता है सोसाइटी में, धर्म की स्थापना करनी होती है दोबारा। तो भगवान खुद को या अपने पार्षदों को या अपने किसी फॉर्म के थ्रू अपनी किसी शक्ति को भी, कभी शक्त्यवेश अवतार कहते हैं इन लोगों को, जैसे प्रभुपाद को हम शक्त्यवेश अवतार कहते हैं कि शक्ति का आवेश है उनके अंदर, भगवान की शक्ति का आवेश है। तो शक्तिवेश अवतार भी आते हैं भगवान के। तो डिफरेंट अवतार से जहां जैसी पॉसिबिलिटी या जिसकी जरूरत होती है, वो उस उस पोटेंसी के साथ भगवान वहां पर मैनिफेस्ट होते हैं, और या फिर वो अपने डिवोटीज के थ्रू चीजें करते हैं।
Okay, I have like a follow up. So like how are we, so basically जैसे आपने प्रभुपाद का एग्जाम्पल लिया राइट, तो मतलब वो जब आए तो मतलब हमने कैसे डेमीगॉड्स के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को डिसरप्ट किया कि प्रभुपाद आए एंड
नहीं, वो एक केस है, मतलब डेमीगॉड के
ओके
अरेंजमेंट्स को तो डिस्टर्ब हम कर ही रहे हैं एक्चुअली। उनके उनके अरेंजमेंट्स को भी हम डिस्टर्ब करते हैं। मतलब हम कोई धर्म का काम नहीं करते। अभी आप यज्ञ नहीं करते डेमीगॉड्स को, क्या आप कोई भी वर्शिप भी ढंग से नहीं हो रही है, बहुत सारे चीजें हैं जो उल्टी सीधी हो रही हैं। इवन डेमीगॉड्स की वर्शिप में हम इतनी सारी गलतियां करते हैं। तो वो एक तरह से उनके मैनेजमेंट में तो डिस्टर्बेंस है। हम मिसाइल्स उड़ा रहे हैं, कभी हम कुछ कर रहे हैं, तो उनके पूरी पूरी के पूरे हम पूरे यूनिवर्स को हिलाने में लगे हुए हैं। हम ग्लोबल वार्मिंग कर रहे हैं, हम बहुत सारी चीजें कर रहे हैं। ये सब डेमीगॉड्स के अरेंजमेंट्स को खराब ही कर रहे हैं। मतलब डेमीगॉड्स तो एक्चुअली नीचे आ भी नहीं सकते, इतना कंटेमिनेट कर दिया हमने प्लेस को। हर जगह पे हमने कचरा और पॉलिथीन डाल दिए हैं, तो कहीं पर भी कोई कोई अच्छा सेलेस्टियल बीइंग तो वहां रह ही नहीं सकता है। दे विल ऑल गो अवे। तो उस तरह से भी देखना चाहें तो हम डिस्टर्ब तो उनके उनकी टेरिटरीज को कर ही रहे हैं, उनके मैनेजमेंट को डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हैं। और उससे बचने का जो भी साधन है, विदाउट, वो उस पर भी डिपेंड करता है कि कैसा व्यक्ति कर रहा है। तो जैसे जैसे हम हमारे जैसे लोगों के लिए, मतलब हम लोग तो लड़ भी नहीं पाएंगे भगवान से, राइट? हमारी वो भी स्थिति नहीं है। तो ही इज नॉट जस्ट किलिंग अस, क्योंकि हम हमारी तो फाइट करने का भी वो नहीं है। सो वी आर सो सो डिग्रेडेड कि हमारे लिए तो केवल एक ही रास्ता है कि हरि नाम करके हमारा हार्ट ट्रांसफॉर्म कर दिया जाए। तो वो अभी उस लेवल पे काम चल रहा है कि भाई ठीक है, मैनिफेस्टेशंस होंगे लेकिन उस तरह के होंगे जिससे आप, मतलब जो लोग हैं उतना हैंडल कर पाए। जैसे जब महाभारत में युद्ध हुआ, तो उस समय पे ऐसे लोग थे जिनके साथ भगवान लड़ सकते थे, एंड ही वाज फाइटिंग विद देम, एंड ही वाज किलिंग देम, एंड ही वाज सेंडिंग ऑल ऑफ देम इनटू द वैकुंठा। तो जो लोग भी इवन वो कौरवास की साइड से लड़ रहे थे या किसी की साइड से लड़ रहे थे, आई थिंक ये विदुर या वो कहते हैं, क्या नाम है उनका, उद्धव। उद्धव को जब भगवान, उद्धव, शायद उद्धव या विदुर ऐसा कहते हैं, या ब्रह्मा कहीं पर कह रहे हैं, जब नारद मुनि उनसे क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं, तो वो कह रहे हैं कि जिसने भी युद्ध देखा, मतलब युद्ध में जिसने भी अर्जुन के सारथी को देखा, वो लोग सब वैकुंठ पहुंच गए, मतलब मरने के बाद भी, मतलब वो चाहे किसी भी पार्टी के हो। तो वहां पर उस तरह का मैनिफेस्टेशन था भगवान का, वहां पर उस तरह के लोग थे, उनके साथ जो डीलिंग्स थी वो उस तरह से होनी थी। बट अभी जो लोग हैं वो इतना हम सहन भी नहीं कर पाएंगे, हम फाइट क्या करेंगे भगवान से, तो फिर ना तो हमारी मुक्ति हो पाएगी ना हमको समझ पाएंगे। तो इसलिए हमको हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र से हमारा हार्ट ट्रांसफॉर्म करने का प्रयास किया जाता है। अभी तक तो यही हो रहा है। जब इतना ज्यादा स्थिति खराब हो जाएगी कि दैट इज आल्सो नॉट पॉसिबल, देन कृष्णा विल जस्ट कम अस ऑल। तो फिर उसके बाद वैसे मुक्ति दी जाएगी। तो दैट्स व्हाट हैपनिंग। तो ये एक वन ऑफ द रीजन,
थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
भगवान के आने का एक रीजन ये है कि भाई धर्म की स्थापना है। बाकी जो इंटरनल रीजंस भगवान के होते हैं वो जनरली डिवोटीज के साथ पास टाइम के होते हैं, क्योंकि भगवान मार तो कैसे भी सकते हैं ना किसी को, उनको आने की क्या जरूरत है धर्म की स्थापना के लिए, वो किसी भी तरह से कर सकते हैं। बट इंटरनल रीजंस भी होते हैं, जिसकी जो मेन रीजंस होते हैं भगवान के आने के, वो डिफरेंट डिवोटीज की डिजायर्स के बेसिस पे। जैसे देवकी की डिजायर थी कि कृष्ण उनके यहाँ जन्म ले, तो कृष्ण को उनके यहाँ जन्म लेना पड़ा। अद्वैताचार्य की डिजायर थी कि भाई चैतन्य महाप्रभु आए, तो इसलिए चैतन्य महाप्रभु यहाँ पर आए हैं। और महाप्रभु की हिमसेल्फ कृष्ण की डिजायर थी कि वो राधा रानी के जो भाव है उसको महसूस कर सकें, तो उसके लिए यहाँ पर प्रकट हुए। तो ये मेन रीजंस हैं। बाकी और रीजंस जो है वो आउटर हैं कि भगवान सबका कल्याण करने के लिए तो प्रभुपाद को ही भेज सकते थे या किसी और को भी भेज सकते थे, बट चेतन महाप्रभु, तो वो सेकेंडरी रीजंस हो जाते हैं। प्राइमरी रीजन हमेशा भगवान का भक्तों के लिए ही होता है, पर वो थोड़ा गुह्यम होता है, मतलब वो केवल भक्त समझ सकते हैं उसको। अब जैसे पास टाइम किया भगवान ने, भगवान चाहते तो डायरेक्ट, जैसे बाकी सब अवतार हैं, जैसे ये घटोत्कच है, घटोत्कच भी एक दिन में ही बड़ा हो सकता है, तो भगवान स्वयं एक दिन में बड़े क्यों नहीं हो गए? भगवान तो उससे ज्यादा पावरफुल है ना, राक्षसों से ज्यादा पावरफुल है। सेलेस्टियल्स के भी सेलेस्टियल्स, मतलब वो तो उन सबके सबसे बड़े वो हैं। तो उनसे उनको इतना टाइम क्यों लग रहा है बॉर्न होके, भाई गर्भ में रहे, फिर धीरे धीरे बच्चे लीलाएं की, फिर बड़े हुए, फिर और बड़े हुए। तो वो भी घटोत्कच की तरह एकदम बड़े हो जाते हैं, इमीडिएटली जाके कंस को मार देते हैं और उसके बाद सारा काम ही खत्म हो जाता है, इजी हो जाता है सब कुछ। लेकिन भगवान ने ऐसा नहीं किया, क्योंकि वो मेन रीजन नहीं था उनका आने का। उनका मेन रीजन था वो लीला करना। तो ही परफॉर्म दैट लीला, वो पास टाइम्स जो परफॉर्म किए उन्होंने, उसमें जो आनंद है, जो भक्तों के साथ उनको आनंद आ रहा है और भक्तों को जो आनंद आ रहा है, वो उसको परफॉर्म करने के लिए एक्चुअली उन्होंने जो है वो बर्त लिया है। तो इसलिए उन्होंने बाल लीलाएं की, जो हम दामोदर अष्टकम वगैरह पढ़ते हैं, तो दामोदर लीलाएं की यशोदा मैया के साथ। तो ये मेन रीजंस होते हैं। ठीक है, हरे कृष्ण। कोई और क्वेश्चन है? ओके देन, हरे कृष्णा, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू प्रभु
हरे
जी। हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्णा।
प्रभु जी, थैंक
you,
यू।
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.